I am so excited to share with you that my amazing clients and my Get in Coach program have given me permission to share an actual coaching call. I don't think I've ever done this with a group call, or if I have, it has been years and years and years. Obviously, my first priority is the confidentiality of my clients and the experience they have as a client. And because of that, every week I just I do hours and hours of client work in groups, one-on-one, but it is all behind the scenes and confidential, right? And so it is a very rare occurrence that I get to share it with you, even rarer to do a group call, but I felt like the themes shared on this call were a little bit less confidential and a little bit more universal. And I asked the ladies if they would mind me sharing this with you on the podcast, and they said yes. So such a generous gift to do this. And I'm beyond excited because I think that as women, one of the biggest things is we feel like we're alone in these problems, right? That we're the only one that has this problem and it just feels so big. But the truth is almost everything we're struggling with is very, very universal. And so as you listen to the women share these challenges, I think you'll realize like, oh my gosh, like I could have been this client. Like this is exactly what I'm struggling with too. So I hope there's a lot of normalcy and just relief that comes in feeling a part of the heart-centered entrepreneur community. I hope you feel like you're a client on this call and that you are getting the benefits of feeling just a warm energy from these ladies, right? So Get in Coach is my quote, low-cost course, right? Or program that is the most accessible and affordable. But I think you'll find that when you listen to this call, you'll be like, oh my God, is this like a high touch mastermind? Because it has such a good vibe, has such great ladies, it has such great intimacy, and really change happens in relationship. If you're buying courses or even doing high ticket masterminds, but not getting a result, a big part of that could be because you are not feeling safe. You are not feeling comfortable to really be yourself, really bring your true challenges, and just really show up with all that you are. That's where change happens, is in community, in connection. We were not meant to do this alone. And so that's why I love partnering. Get in Coach has a really clear 12-step week framework where you do the steps and it is a foolproof way to sign clients, but it is also partnered with the super live component of the program where I'm your coach and I'm on live calls with you, where we have a Slack community that is vibrant and I'm doing Q&A in there if you can't make our calls. So I wanted to just show you behind the scenes how amazing this community is, how amazing these women are, because when this podcast goes live, I'm doing a quick open enrollment for Get in Coach. So if you are in a season of wanting to sign one-on-one clients, and this program, my mastermind is for done for you women and for coaches, but this program, this course is specifically for coaches because the first 6 weeks are marketing-based, heart-centered tactics to help you sell and get fully booked as a heart-centered coach, or at least sign your next 1 to 3 clients. And then the second 6 weeks are actually behind the scenes tactics on building a coaching business, right? And so policies and trainings for asking good coaching questions, how to run a session, how to lead in between session support, all of that is really specific to a coaching business. Now it can be any niche, right? I have coaches doing all sorts of things, relationship building, health coaching, business coaching. So the niche doesn't matter, but coaching in the sense that you're not doing the work for someone. So really it's a coaching business in a box. It's designed to like help you get clients, but also how to run your business and feel really good. I even give you a coaching certificate when you study the coaching skills I teach in the program. And it's just such a great and cozy and beautiful container. And I hope listening to these women, you'll just understand how special it is. And it really is you. It is you that makes the program so beautiful and special. And I know there's a million places that you can learn to get clients online, but I just have to say the heart-centered community is the best one because you really find sustainable ways to sign clients. It's not just going to work once. It's really forever going to change the way. I have women that have done the 12-week program and have messaged me literally a year or two later and tell me that their business is still growing and blooming because of the foundational work, the concepts that they learned, how to launch, how to sell, how to market, how to get visible, how to get clear in your message, how to convert in a heart-centered way. And so I hope you consider learning that with us in this 12-week program, especially designed for women that are busy. Whether you have never signed a paying client in your life, this is meant to be a newbie program to take you from 0 to 3 from scratch. Or maybe you have a coaching business, but you really need to update your marketing for what's working in 2026. Or maybe you have a different type of business like a done for you business, and you're really looking to add a coaching revenue stream. Maybe you're changing up your message and relaunching your coaching business in a new way. Either way, we would love to have you. And also, I do 10-minute intro calls. And so if you're like, okay, I've done other investments, they haven't worked before, I want to know more, I'm happy to chat with you and answer any questions you have. I also have a 20-minute intro video that talks through exactly the methods I teach you and goes into detail. And so I'm going to link all of that below, but stay tuned for this amazing coaching call. And please just send positive energy and gratitude towards my clients for being open and so heart-centered to share this with us. Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Podcast. I want you to be rich. Yes, I want abundant financial success for your business. But I don't just care about your business making money. I care about you too. I want you to be rich in happiness, in the impact you make, in your relationships, and in how you give back. I'm Anna. I built my 6-figure business as a side hustle while I was pregnant with my daughter in 2016. Now I've helped dozens of women do the same. I'm here to help you build a profitable, heart-centered, fully booked business with the latest tips on sales and visibility, with proven mindset hacks, and sneak peeks behind the scenes with what's working right now in the online space and in my business. Ready to make more money with heart? Let's go. Okay, let's do it. Who wants to start with their gratitude?
I can start. So I went on vacation and I was able to unplug and not worry about my December plans kind of going south. And I kind of knew like the stuff that I wanted to get done or thought I needed to do, I wasn't going to really do. Um, so I was just able to let it all go. So I'm really thankful that I could just not feel like I'm behind. And like I think on Thursday I was like, "Oh shoot, it's Thursday, like my worksheets, my," and then I was like, "You know what? No, like I was off, like I didn't worry about it, didn't think about it, which is great. Like I was able to clear my mind and now I'm starting the year fresh. So I think I'm just grateful for my ability to do that. I've come a long way. So yeah.
I can go next. I'm grateful for what Andrea said because it pointed out to me. I realized it last week. We're still on vacation here. We still have another week. And so I like checked in the Slack yesterday and I was like, oh shit, yeah, we're still doing stuff. So I felt zero guilt or pressure about anything. And yeah, I'm grateful, as crazy as this week is, for one more week of vacation. Just, I don't know, to pretend like we're not starting yet, to slowly ease into it, slower than the rest of the world, I think.
I love that so much. I love that all of you guys shared almost like a similar theme too, right? Of giving yourselves permission to like ease back in slowly. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Jesse. We are just wrapping up gratitude. So if you have one, you're welcome to share one. If not, that's okay too.
I always have a lot I'm grateful for, so I'll just say I don't want to ever miss the opportunity to say. So I will just say for my family and really for this program and the opportunity to have this system, even though I'm going through it quite slowly, to really see how the things that I'm kind of into it that I should be doing to actually give me the steps to do it, because having the vision of doing it and being able to do it are two different things. And I think, Anna, you're helping us to really take these practical steps. So very grateful for that. Thank you.
Any gratitudes, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm grateful to ease into the new year. I think in the past, I felt like I was behind in terms of my business and having to have, especially with being in the health realm, you feel like you need to have like a challenge or something for people to do. And I've really let that go the last couple of years, especially being with you, Anna, and learning how to do it with ease and align with me. And I just am very grateful for that approach this year.
These were all great gratitudes. I love it. I agree. I really think the best time for planning in business is either like September, December, like the fall, like fall or like late January, right? Like I just feel like in the transition of the year, there's so much going on with transitions. Not that you can't, but I just wouldn't pressure yourself to. So I really feel like Now is a great time to ease yourself in. And I love what Jennifer said too about being faithful to the steps, right? Every single goal you ever have, like I want you to think about a goal that you have in your life that's not even related to business, right? And if you were to project manage that goal and list like 5 steps you need to take to get there, right? We have to be faithful to the steps, right? So often we want to work on like step 5, but that actually like slows us down, right? And the more time we spend ruminating that we're not on like step 5, the more time we're wasting, right? And I did this so much at the start of my business is like was upset that I wasn't where I wanted to be already. And so I spent a lot of energy not just being present with where I was, and I spent a lot of time like beating myself up for not being further ahead or not leaving situations I should have, or not like, if I only would have known, or it like, it's just such a waste of time. Right. And I mean, we can be compassionate for that. And we can have like, a, I'm a big fan of like giving ourselves a little space to have like emotional fits, but then we don't need to like live there because it really just slows us down. Right. And I think a lot of it too, I've been processing with my therapist, like things from the past, like we were a different person then. And a lot of times we use our brain today to judge our past self for the actions that we took, but we were not the same person. We were not the same person. It would be like berating a child for not knowing better, right? So I love that frame, Jennifer, of just like, these are the steps I need to take. This is the path I'm on. And what also trips, I think, really high performing smart women up is when maybe we were on more advanced steps in a different thing. Like, let's say you were in corporate and you had a large team and you had a large marketing team and you're in a different phase when you're starting over from scratch as an entrepreneur. You don't have a team, right? So I just think like, especially if you've had seasons of life where you have experienced success or where things have been easy, right? Going into a season where like things are hard or you're hearing no a lot or experiencing micro failures, like can just be an interesting dynamic. And so really being faithful to not just the season you were at compared to other women, but the season you're at in every chapter, right? Like I closed down my mastermind last year and started a new version of the mastermind. And in many ways, I was starting from scratch again. Even though I'm 10 years in business, I really had to humble myself and from scratch introduce my audience to a new program, right? Like, and so I really think that humility of like staying focused on your path and your steps is just the most underrated skill, right? Okay, welcome, Christina. Okay, I have like a tiny little reflective exercise for you guys, and then we can dive into Q&A. I missed you guys so much. It feels like I haven't seen you for a year, even though it's just been a few weeks. Okay, so the one reflection question I want you to ask yourself is, you can journal this on a paper or wherever you want, is what is one thing that you want to leave a little more behind in 2025? And what's something you'd like more of in 2026? You can answer this however you'd like. Just give yourself 3 minutes or so to journal this out. What's something that you'd like to leave behind? Maybe it's not perfect, but like leave it a little more behind. I do think there's something fun about the new year and that it feels like a fresh slate, a fresh chapter. Obviously, we can do that anytime, but I think it's like, let's take advantage of this energy. So spend a few minutes to journal, and I'll write the question in the chat box too. And you will not have to share these with us unless you want to. So be as honest as you want with yourself. It can be a few things. It can be business. It can be life. And for the one for 2026, it could be something new, but ideally it's just something you renew, because usually things work good for us and then we stop doing them. And so really thinking through what's worked for me and how do I recommit to that? How do I renew that commitment to myself? Okay, 30 more seconds or so to reflect. Okay, totally optional, but do one or two of you want to share either something you want to leave behind or something you'd like to bring into 2026? Just an option.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to share. I think for me, yeah, Anna, when you're talking about like if we've had these past lives or experiences of being like successful women, even like the last few years, and still recently when I met someone, it was like people say, what do you do for work? And I always kind of stumble around it. I'm like, oh, well, I'm a coach and I'm an OBM and blah, right? It's always like, because my background is so academic and yeah, successful, that going into, oh, you're a life coach, like, oh, right? So I think just letting go of that and just being like, you know what? trying to skip over the bad word, forget it. And no, I am, and I'm confident and I'm going to be successful. So take your opinion and shove it. So that's what I'm bringing into 2026 is embracing that and like, yeah, not giving up because of some ridiculous stigma.
I also think that in like leadership like that, like most people follow our cue on it, right? And so if you go in there and you're like, oh, I'm a life coach and you're excited and you're proud, they're like, oh my God, tell me about that, right? I remember this like when I was getting divorced, like I started being like kind of frustrated with people because they'd be like, feel sorry for me. And I realized the way I was saying it was helping determine that. I was like, oh, I'm getting divorced. Instead of what I started saying is like, I'm getting divorced. Tell me congratulations. And they're like, oh my God, congratulations, right? Like most people, more than we think, pick up on our energy and they're trying to actually be supportive. And so they're kind of like picking up on our nonverbal stuff. And so it's just so interesting to like script out for things we do hesitate on us around like, how would I want to say that? And either they're going to be an asshole and not support me, but then at least they show their true colors, or they're trying to help me out, right? I love that one.
So the main thing I'm leaving behind is waiting until something is ready to do something. Because the truth is I was never good at that anyway. I wasn't really waiting. So I may as well just embrace it, right? I like to do things and try them out. And that's what I want more of. Just last night, I did a separate, my other storytelling project. I just did this totally new idea and 30 people came. 30 people signed up and about 20 something came. And it was rougher than what I normally do. It wasn't as smooth, but overall, I think people really liked it. And some people, they were like, wow, I've been coming to this for a long time. And I was actually really surprised, but it seemed like a positive. So yeah, it wasn't perfect, but I love trying out new things and I want to have more fun. Like trying out and actually say, yeah, that was rough, wasn't it? But I'll get better. I actually wrote to a friend and I said, I know that was pretty rough last night, but it will get better and I'm going to get better at it. And it felt so good. I wasn't even waiting for her response. I just am so happy I did it. Thanks.
That's a great example too of like the framing. You weren't like, oh my God, I made a mistake and I'm so
Right.
horrible. Then everyone's going to be like, yeah, actually that was horrible, right? Instead of like, oh my God, that was so fun. I totally like messed up. And they're like, yeah, actually that was kind of fun. Like I was living by the seat of my pants, right? Like I do think as a leader, how we're marketing, how we're framing and using words to conceptualize our experience really makes an impact. So I love that you marketed for yourself and you were like,
Thank you.
that wasn't a fuck up. We were having
Actually,
fun, right?
yes. And somebody even said, thank you for telling us that you're trying it out and you want our feedback. They were so appreciative to kind of be in the inner circle of it. So that was cool. Yeah. Thanks.
I'll go. Yeah, what I'm leaving behind really is the things like doubt about the value that I offer and fear of being judged and staying safe, all those kind of things. And I know where bunch of that stuff came from in the past 2 years. And it's like, no, it's time, and I'm really committing even more fully to my own business this year. And of course, starting off with the summit right off the bat is part of that. And so that's really my commitment is commitment to me and being fully me, including in my business. It's really time for me to do that. And I got to tell you, the promo started yesterday, but we're still tweaking. We still haven't really put out the opt-in page and stuff yet. But one of my speakers sent an email last night around 5:30. By like 9, I had 20 people that had signed up and one tried to do the VIP. It didn't work. So I fixed it. I have 29 new leads and 3 people purchased the VIP, which goes to Charity Water. So I'm like, okay, so much for what if nobody signs up? So that fits really well with my thing about really recommitting and allowing myself to be seen and moving forward with this. So thank you.
Okay, so beautiful. If you'd like, you can kind of sum up what you said for yourself, especially the one that's like moving forward into 2026 or the one that's leaving behind, as long as it's like something kind to yourself. Like I love Christina's example of I'm leaving behind, playing it small, basically, right? Like maybe you want to put a few of those words on a little index card and keep it by yourself, just as a reminder for you, just as a reminder, a little phrase Maybe it's a little symbol. I'm a big fan of buying little like symbols for myself, right? Like I have this little, I love like the biology about hummingbirds and kind of the story about them. So I keep like a little hummingbird picture in my work bag, right? Or like maybe you have like a little jewelry or something like that, but I'm a big fan of symbols like that. Okay, let's do coaching. So put in the chat box where you need coaching support, specifically when it comes to finding clients making money in January. So any topic related to that, your messaging, your visibility, and then ideally you're also telling me where you're at in the program, whether you've finished it and are working on a different type of thing, whether you haven't launched yet, you're in the middle of your launch, etc. So take a second for you to write your question. And as always, as I'm answering questions, or maybe you have like a second or third question, write those down. Those are great for the Q&A tomorrow, right? Like now is a great time while your brain is like in the context switch of like thinking about your business, and not just thinking about your business, but thinking about it proactively, right? Is a great time to write down questions that you have so you can paste those in the chat tomorrow. One of my favorite like secrets is like using my task management system to remind me of future things. So in this example, right, like in my little task list, I would assign myself a task that's due tomorrow that says, ask Anna these questions in the Q&A, right? And then it would pop up. I use this for so many things, right? Like wish Nancy a happy birthday next month, right? Like ask Nancy how her surgery went, right? Because I think as being a CEO is so much about timing, right? Like there are things, it's almost like when you're a parent, sometimes it's not useful to tell your kids things way in advance, but also then you kind of have the mental burden of remembering it. Same thing with your team, right? There's some things that I'm like, ooh, I want one of my team members is going on maternity leave. And so I want to ask my other team member if she can cover it, but I don't want to ask her too early because I don't really want to worry her about it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a note on this date to ask that team member, right? Like that is sounds weird, but it really helps with your mental load. And then you really never forget anything. You make very few errors. And I think so often we beat ourselves up because we're like, oh, I'm so dumb. Why didn't I remember it? Instead of like, literally, I'm not going to remember it. So I'm going to create that system to support me in that, right? And while I'm feeling excited or while I'm remembering, I did like a little team Christmas, like a virtual little Christmas party for my team. But I kind of felt inspired to do it in like September. So I wrote the whole thing in September and then I assigned it to myself on like December 2nd to do. Otherwise, I think we have like, for me, I think I used to be addicted to like having an idea and putting it out right away. But really getting used to that gap of when you have an idea for a piece of content or want to do something and having the emotional tolerance to wait until the timing feels right, right? Maybe you're going to fire a team member and you know you need to let them go, but you know that you're going to do it next month because the timing doesn't make sense this month, right? Tolerate your anxiety, assign yourself a task, right? Tell me in the chat box where you have a place to assign yourself tasks like that. If you don't have a place, I really don't like Asana very much, but I do recommend it for something for free if you use it in a really simple way. Where we get screwed up with project management is when we try to use every single corner of the project management system. I use Basecamp. It's a little bit expensive, so I don't recommend it right away, but I probably use like 10% of Basecamp's capabilities. But I don't care because it works for me, right? And so what I recommend is getting Asana, literally just having one to-do list and calling it my to-do list, right? And putting everything under one simple to-do list, but it allows you to assign tasks 2 days so that you can look and see what's due each day, right? I do have like one business and one personal, but I kind of have them all so I'm seeing the day of what's due that day, personal and business. But if you don't already have a way to do that, you can also do that on your Google Calendar by putting things, there's like a task section of Google Calendar. But I really encourage you to, and when you have team, this is essential. We have to be able to tell team members not just when to do things, but we have to be able to assign a due date. Otherwise, it's really mean to the VA, right? It's really mean to the team member. We have to be super clear so we can start that habit with ourselves of what needs to be done, when does it need to be done by, right? Exactly. If you already have a task program, use the task program that you use or that you love. Charmaine loves Asana. I'm just not a very organized person naturally. Maybe that's why. But I think, yeah, notes app, anything that allows you to have a date with things, then you don't have to remember so much. Okay. Enough tangents, Anna. Okay. Andrea, Jennifer, Charmaine, Chelsea, Christina. Okay, I think I said everyone, right? Andrea, Jennifer, can't read my own handwriting. Charmaine, Chelsea, Christina. Yes, exactly. If you use your iPhone reminders, if you already have a system, then use your system, right? It's just knowing the task, knowing the date, I think is essential. Yes, putting something on the calendar. I'm also a fan of that. You can put a task on the calendar, like, hey, between 9 and 10 on this day, I'm going to go to the DMV and renew my license. That's even better, right? Okay, Andrea.
Okay, so we talked about this before vacation. So I'm going to work on the master your message for my new niche, and then also going with that the workshop idea topic or whatever you want to call it. Um is there anything else I should be focusing on at the moment? I mean, I think right now I'm in a weird place because I'm not really feeling after my vacation, I'm not really feeling inspired to like post on social media. And also, like, I'm in the middle of re-niching. So I'm just kind of like, I just want to focus my energy, kind of like what you said, like not think about something that's not going to help long term and then have to go back and be like, okay, I spent like 10 hours planning posts and recording and then it didn't, it's not even like on message or on brand or on whatever. So right now I think I know what I need to do. I just need to sit down and do it. So those are my plans for submitting for Thursday, but just wondering if there's anything else I need to do to get back on track.
I think I'm glad this is recorded so you can go back and listen to your TED Talk because I think you summed it perfectly. Like I wouldn't add anything. Like I thought it was great, right? Like I think that that's a great plan to do your messaging worksheet. I also have, if you get stuck on the messaging worksheet, I have like a supplemental. I really struggle with messaging at the start of my business. So I have like a whole little baby messaging course. I don't think it's necessary for most people because I don't think most people struggle with it as much as I struggled with messaging. But what I have in that mini course is a messaging blocks worksheet. So if
Mm,
you find yourself really I don't think you've been resisting the worksheet. I think you've just been busy with the holidays, right?
yeah.
But if you find yourself really struggling with the messaging worksheet, I can also share the messaging blocks worksheet. But I agree with you about just giving yourself like 3 days to not post online
Yeah.
and instead do that back end clarity work. And
Mhm.
then maybe like make one post with your
Yeah.
new message. You create great content. Like great. I know you don't
Thank
have a big
you.
audience, so it probably doesn't feel like it. But like
Yeah.
if you had a lot of people, I think they would love your content because I think it's
Yeah.
you put time into it, energy. So I do think the gap is audience size, and
Mm.
I think that'll be easier for you when you feel aligned with your messaging.
Mhm.
I don't feel like your message was bad before. I just feel like you didn't like your message maybe.
Yeah.
So that's the goal, is we're finding something that you're thrilled about.
Mhm.
So yeah, I
Okay.
like that plan.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll do that. Thank you.
And then yes, I like the webinar idea too. Maybe like clarity on your message, post for 1 week, just so we can make sure you like it.
Mhm.
And then if 1 week later you're still liking it, then like 2 weeks of promo for a webinar or workshop.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yay. Ooh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. Jennifer.
Okay, so I'm in the 2 weeks, in the last week of the scholarship promotion. I haven't been following the chart that I made based on what you made, but I've been doing some of it. And the things I've done, I feel like I've done well. So I made a video and I asked everyone, and thank you, Anna, for putting it up. I wrote individually to many friends who are supporters, and they did. So 10, 11 people shared it. And they wrote, some of them just shared it, but some of them wrote really nice things. And 2 or 3 people that I never got around to writing shared it on their own, seeing other people in our friend group share it. And one even apologized to me. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see your post until I saw Tanya post it. So that was so fun, that she did that. So when I see the views, just from the Facebook post, there's like 900 and something views, which sounds pretty good in a few days. And the first few hours, it went to like 400, 500. but it's like they're 3-second views, they're 20-second views. Like nobody's, even though it was short for me, it was like 55 seconds. Most of my stuff is way too long. They're not reading. Even the people sharing it are not all reading it. They just want to be supportive. So I know that. And then I really am happy with my flyer and I put that out. 2 people have applied now. So I wrote yesterday, it was 1. Now it's 2, 1 person I knew and 1 person I didn't know. And I'm already feeling a little guilty. This was a second, like, what am I going to do? Neither of these people can afford it. If I say no to one of them, and hopefully a lot of other people, I'm going to be saying no to. Even though I don't want to say no, I want to say yes. Basically, that's my update. But I just want to ask you, knowing, yes, I realize you created a system for us, but here's where I am. I've posted the flyer. I've posted the video. Other people have shared the video. Is there anything in particular you think I should do in these 5 days before it's due on the 11th?
Sounds like
thanks for
you've been
listening.
taking some awesome action. I love what you said too about like, okay, I haven't done everything in my plan, but I really think the point of the plan is to like get you moving in that direction.
Mhm.
So like the fact that you're doing things over the holidays is amazing, right? And so I agree, like it's okay if you don't like do your whole list. Even though I want to wait for like full analyzing till after your launch, it's really interesting what you said about the video, right? Your video got 900 views, right? And were the metrics saying that most of them were short views?
I mean, every time I put a video, it says how many people you get at 3 seconds,
Yep.
but you don't really see more. So there was a good amount, higher than normal. It was like 56% were 3, and it's usually 40 something percent on my videos. And when I think of other people's videos, I'm not looking at it for even 3 seconds either. So I guess
Yeah.
even people who are really like done up and really professional and well known. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's not that bad, even though
Yeah.
it feels yucky.
Yeah, I know 50% is great, right? But I do think it's really interesting, right? Because a lot of times in this phase, in getting coach, most of the problem that people have is they don't have a big enough audience, right? And so
Mhm.
it's really hard to even know if their messaging is good or bad because there's not even enough eyeballs to test it on. However, this was kind of an interesting petri dish where you got 900 views, right?
Mhm.
And so what comes up for me is like, okay, we have a little bit of evidence that either we need to make your videos catchier,
Mhm.
right? So that, you know, did you take the video like I think it was more of like a this way video because it's Facebook, right?
Yeah, I did it on Zoom because when I was doing it on this time, usually I do them just like this,
Yeah.
but it was very unflattering just the way I was looking, and I was,
Yes.
like, annoyed. So I'm like, "You know what? I know I look better on Zoom," so I just did it on Zoom. When
Yes.
I do it outside, I actually like how I look much better than inside, so it's just a total vanity thing, but I couldn't be outside, it was just too cold. There was just
Yes. Exactly.
so
Like
yeah.
weather permitting. I love that you just got the video out, right? I think you did that great and perfect. But I think for next time, it would
Mhm.
be interesting to be like, okay, how do I increase the applications, but also people just watching the damn video, right? And so I love the idea of you doing it outside, you doing it vertical, right?
Right,
I
which is
love
what I
the
normally do, but I get the same. I get between like 500 and 1,500. I think is like the most I've gotten. And I often get more without all those people sending it, like just from me
yeah,
doing it. So I don't
yes.
know why or, yeah.
And so just getting curious about like, okay, what do we do? What are some tactics we can do to get to people to watch for more than 3 seconds? Number one, we can put something really a hook on the screen, right? So even if we're not capturing the whole video, we could write something that's intriguing on the slide, right? We
Okay.
can like have 2 different camera angles in the first few seconds, right? I've seen a lot of people do the like just pan the
Yes.
camera. And I know that sounds so annoying,
It works. No, I do
but
agree that
I
it
do think it's useful to ask yourself what's of those little tactics, right? What feels most natural to me? Maybe it's just a hook on this title with like 3 little words that creates curiosity. But I like
can
the idea
can
of
you
playing with some of
add
that.
can I ask if can a person add to her video after it's done? Can I add something? Because sometimes I can't figure out how to do
I
the
don't think so. I
captions.
don't think like text
Once
on the
it's done,
video.
it's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's that video is great.
No, no,
But I
I
just
know,
think
but
like
you're
moving
just saying.
forward, I like the idea of playing with like, okay, I'm just gonna do one small shift. I'm gonna add a little hook on my videos, right? Um, okay, and then as far as like last 5 days, but for now, I would mostly just charge forward and see what you can do in these last 5 days because I think people are paying attention now. New Year is here. And regarding like those 2 people that apply that you don't want to disappoint, it's remembering that you don't have to give anyone this. Let's say 10
Right.
people apply and you don't like any of the 10, you don't have to, you can just fade away quietly and not give it to any of them. Like you don't owe anyone anything because they haven't paid you money.
Right.
And even if they did pay you money, you can refund them and you still don't owe them anything. Like, I think as heart centered entrepreneurs, we get this over responsibility, which in general is
Mhm.
great. It means you love your clients, you care about them. And that's like missing from our industry, right? But I think it's just remembering like, great, they applied. They probably got something from filling out those questions and reflecting. And I'm not going to like take more responsibility than I need to.
Yeah. Well, one person has been coming to my stuff regularly, and so I have, this kind of like mothering kind of like tendency toward him already, and I think he would actually be really good for it, but I'm hoping other people will apply. So, and they did. They both answered all the questions so earnestly. It was really moving. It made me a little emotional actually to read what they wrote.
And what you can do to like exchange that energy, right? That's why for me personally, I love to respond when someone applies, whether it's to work with me and pay me money or for a free thing, I always reply personally, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes my team will reply as me on Instagram or Facebook, but when someone applies to work with me, it's always me replying back. Because for me, that feels like the even exchange. Not that I'm agreeing to coach them if I don't think we're a fit, but I always will say, I read your application. Like, so I think it's asking yourself, like, what's the even energy exchange? That I'm reading their application, that I'm responding with care and intention, like that's kind of like what you owe. You don't really owe them that, but for me, that's
Right.
what feels like an even energy exchange that you took the time to be present with their application.
That is lovely. All right, my last thing is, should I do that even before they apply the deadline, or should I just wait till all of that after the deadline, right to
For
everybody?
these two people, if you already know them really well, I wouldn't
One idea.
necessarily feel obligated to do a free call with them. Like your time is precious, right?
No, I'm saying, should I just write them already now to thank them for applying and say I read it, or should I wait till after the 11th?
It's up to you. I think
Okay.
are you going to be doing a free call with them?
I haven't even got to that point yet, but I was going to do something with each person applied, unless an insane number of people apply. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Then I would initiate that. Like if you're gonna do like a
Okay.
15-minute call with them or something, I would say like I read your application and I would do the free 15-minute call now.
Okay. Great. All
And
right.
again,
Go
that's
to the
something
next
else
one.
they're getting for free is a call with you, right? Like,
Right.
but I think people, when I've been frustrated with a coach, whether it's like a free or paid situation, it's when I haven't felt respected. Not like, and so I think that comes from if I filled out a super long application and then I was ignored, I mean, it's fine, but I wouldn't feel super respected. But if someone wrote back and said, I read this, I spent time, like that to me feels like respect, right?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right.
Yes, yes,
You can
yes.
move on. Thanks so much.
Okay, Charmaine.
Okay, so I got 5 applicants and 2 people I don't know. So I'm excited. Nice little round number. And so I have a discovery call. Somehow I ended up with 5 discovery calls, like one a day for 5 days, which is nice. It's like paced out nicely and I'm getting in the practice. But so my actual question is, what should I be doing? So, I took a break from Instagram with all the things at the end of the year, and I'm wondering, should I still be marketing the program, or should I just, like, I know I need to focus on growing my audience. So should I just be doing that without explicitly like selling a program? Or should I just keep doing like a mix of both and just not like offering the free spots and stuff?
I love that it magically ended up being one sales call a day for
Yeah.
like that's so magic. I love it. I would mostly focus your energy, like you're saying, on showing up for those calls, right? So even though they're free, really leading it like a paid call. So really not coaching on it, but really asking questions, asking why they're stuck, asking why they want to coach. How are you feeling about that discovery call part?
Yeah, I feel like good about the discovery call part. It's just like, oh yeah, what else am I supposed to be? And I'm definitely like focused on them and thinking like ahead about who I might want to work with and like what is that going to look like. I just think like 10% of my time, like I do want to get back into the habit of like the Instagram stuff just so I don't get like too rusty.
Yeah, I agree. And I think maybe it's even just like posting 2 times this week, right? Or it can just be like a little
Right.
low metric for you. But as long as it doesn't distract, I'm a big fan of like when we work our booty off to get warm leads so often, then we forget to like, that's the whole point of the visibility. So don't neglect that, right? But if you have some extra energy, I like the idea of visibility with a goal of growing your audience, right? And so
Mhm.
content that is going to be maybe a little tiny bit controversial or like that shares your heart, that's like to viral reel trending sounds, like ideally like growth type content.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Exciting for you. Excited for you. You also have really, really great content.
Thank you.
If it feels fun too, you can set a little metric for like, I'd like to grow by 10 followers this week, right? Or like, as long as the metric doesn't feel like discouraging, like it depends on some my clients, it really discourages them to look at the number because they're like, I lost two. But if it feels exciting, how does it feel like to you to set a little reach goal?
Uh, yeah, that doesn't sound exciting to me. That sounds like, especially because I don't even have trial reels, which like why? Um, yeah, I don't think, yeah, I think that would be a distraction and I would probably end up feeling like low about it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, just show up and keep doing what you're doing then, and trust that the universe is going to meet you. I love that. Okay, Chelsea.
Mm, I think it's pretty much been answered by now. Yeah, I have something coming up, I don't know, next week, I think on Instagram where I'm going to share some stuff. But I think at this point, I just feel like focusing on my messaging, expanding the audience. I think I'm in that place where, yeah, there isn't a big enough audience to test too much. Embracing this idea of, not the idea, embracing that I am a confident coach and really focusing on what excites me and what's coming from my heart and not focusing so much on like, yeah, trying to actively catch people to sell. Like I have, yeah, a few calls I've had, a few more coming up. I don't know. So I think it's not really a question.
I love what you said about continuing to like own who you are, be proud of who you are, share that online, share what excites you. Like
Hmm.
maybe even like setting like a time frame around it. Like, hey, for 2 weeks, every day I want to do some affirmations about how proud I am of myself as a life coach or whatever, right? Like for 2 weeks, I want to like write a piece of content every day or whatever that excites me, or like what feel like some
Mm.
little metrics around it.
Yeah, I think that's good. I have some stuff coming up next week. Then I'm gonna try to do like a talking reel. We'll see. I still don't talk on them, and I still might not. We'll see how it goes. Um, with some things that I feel solid about and see how those play out. And just, yeah, I think still trying to post like once a day for sure. Yeah, and keeping active on it, but taking the pressure off of posting to get money from clients.
Yeah, I do like the idea of like 2 weeks of like value growth, trying to get new audience members.
Mhm.
If you get nervous about the talking head one too, you could always, I don't know if this is better or worse for you, but you could always post it in the Q&A or like just in the general Slack if you don't want to post it online for us to give you positive feedback, or is that more scary?
It's probably worse for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
at least on Instagram, like strangers are gonna see it.
Sometimes it's easier to like post in front of strangers than our own friends, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah,
And just put it up. You can always delete it if you hate it. But I love the
that's
exercise of
true.
like, can you put up a talking head? Can you leave it online for 10 minutes? And then if you can't tolerate it, take it down.
Right? Yeah. I've put a few to trial reels and they've done terrible. So I think for a while it's just reaffirmed that I shouldn't be
Yeah,
talking.
trial reels are hard because I don't think most don't get good visibility.
That's where I seem to be getting the most of my visibility. Like if yeah, like hundreds of 3,000 on one reel. I don't know. That's where I seem to be getting it. So
Are people commenting or just watching?
most of them are just watching, but I have gotten some follows, I've gotten some likes. So I'm like, okay, so I'm watching that, taking that
Okay,
in as I
great. So keep
go.
doing that.
Yeah, I think so. And then expanding in, like, I have a couple of podcast interviews and some other stuff. So it's like, okay, I want to embrace trying to reach out in other ways. Like, I think Andrea,
Yes.
last time we spoke, that really encouraged me because she's like joining like real life groups. I thought, yeah, should expand networking in some ways.
I love that idea. Yeah, whatever is feeling exciting for you for visibility, I think is a great idea. Eventually, kind of like Andrea's talking about, I think it would be good for you to have like another marketing focus, whether
Yeah.
it's like a webinar or a challenge but I don't think it has to be right now.
Perfect. Good.
Yay, I'm so excited for you, Chelsea. Okay, Christina.
Okay, so I was realizing last night anything can happen. And there were several things that I just, I had to jump on and I figured some things out, got them fixed. Some things had to wait till the morning. but along with the wins, along with the good stuff that's happening with it. I'm realizing I need to be prepared to handle anything that comes up and allow extra time, that kind of thing, without, this is a reminder to myself, without needing it to be perfect, because it won't be, and they don't care. I'm probably the only one that cares about that. So just suggestions on how ways to handle that going forward, besides, things like making sure I'm grounded, making sure as much as I can, I allow a little extra space, for things. Do you have any suggestions? More suggestions?
Okay, just tell me again suggestions for.
For making sure, like in doing this big thing that I'm doing, right? There's a lot of things I'm needing to do that I haven't done before, although I have some help with it. Is there anything else I need to be looking at, or anything else I need to put in place to make sure I'm prepared to handle whatever comes up in a timely manner, I guess, or maybe thinking ahead about things that I might need to be sure is set up properly, things like that.
Yes, you're saying like in general for the summit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I like to do with things like this when I'm doing like a new marketing tool that I haven't before is I like to carefully Google like summit checklist, right? And just know that I don't have to do everything that everyone with the summit has ever done, but like just get inspiration that way. But maybe you've already done that. Like, do you feel like you kind of already have all the summit checklist stuff?
Yeah, I think that I do actually. I think it's just that it's a lot,
Yes,
kind of in a
it's so many moving
short
parts,
time
right?
frame. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's good because I'm doing it and I'm getting some things in place that needed to be put in place,
Yes.
both within me and outside. So yeah, I have some checklists and stuff, but it's like last night, my assistant wasn't available. She's in England. So I just figured a bunch of stuff out
Yep.
and I left her a bunch of notes this
Yes.
morning.
I think that's super normal. I think you're actually doing it perfectly, right?
Mm.
Anytime you're doing, which is why I really encourage my clients to like, if they find a marketing thing that works for them, repeating it, right? So at the beginning of my business, I did a lot of challenges and I just would do them a lot. And I really didn't ever do webinars. It's not because webinars are bad. It's just because me and my team got in the system of a challenge, right? So for you, if summits work well for you, you might do summits once a year or twice a year, right? And not that there aren't other ways to grow your audience like Facebook ads or blah, blah, but like I'm a big fan of like really mastering one thing. And so you're doing the hard work now to figure out summits. So I would just take lots of notes for yourself, right? Like when you do something, write down what you did so that it's in your checklist and you're really refining how Christina does summits and how that works for you. And it's never going to be harder than it is now, right?
Right, being the first time. That's really true. And I'm thinking of this in terms of any kind of launch, right? It's really the same thing.
Yes.
Anything that I'm going to launch, it's just a lot at one time that I'm doing. But so I think, yeah, that helps. I guess it just helps to talk about it and just, and I'm realizing I want to be on podcasts. I don't think I want to do my own podcast, but I've been told, like my last people that I interviewed, they're people I know, and it's a couple. I love them. And they've done tons of interviews, and they, after, when we were done with the interview, they said, "You are really good at this." And I'm like, so just taking that in and realizing there's a lot more spin-offs from this that I can see doing, and it's helping to give me some oomph and some confidence in it. So, okay, I see that, and taking care of myself is a big part of it, and making sure that along with this, I'm really doing things so I'm in a good place to handle whatever comes up and respond and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay.
And being okay if there's like, I think especially the first time we launch something or do a new tactic, like being okay with like either skipping some things this round, being like, well, that
Oh
would be
yeah.
awesome, but it's not going to happen now.
I'm not
Maybe
doing
next time
everything.
we can have everyone's video have a pretty slide on it, right? Like, so doing things bare bones and then also allowing for delays, remembering that like, it's okay if you say like, this was going to come out tomorrow, it's actually going to come out Friday, right? So just allowing yourself that flexibility on the first time, I think is huge.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out my interview, what my topic's gonna be, and kind of redoing that. So okay, that's helpful.
I don't think you're missing anything. And I think it's normal the first time we do anything to miss things, right? I have Getting Coach like pretty structured, right? Like da, 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 da. Basically, what I'm teaching you in Getting Coach is not just the scholarship method, but my way of thinking of like deciding on something, writing up the offer, creating 2 weeks of content, right? Like, and I think that eventually we have to be able to do that on our own. We have to be able to have an idea, make a plan, not that we can't have a coach support us, but what you're doing right now is very normal, which is how do I create a plan? And then the first time I do something, have patience for myself as I'm figuring it out. And then how do I give myself permission to repeat that once I've figured something out instead of getting shiny object syndrome and then wanting to do something else, right? Like I've mastered this. Now, how do I allow that? Like all the hard work you're doing now to create a summit system for yourself is not just going to serve you for the, thousands of email subscribers you get right now, but actually the thousands you get in the future, right? You're really leveraging your time and planting foundations of thousands, if not more, email subscribers you're going to get over the next few years, right?
Yep. Yep. It feels like the start is, it's a launching pad, it feels like, yeah. Thank you for that.
Proud of you. Okay, a few more minutes left. So does anyone have a second question? And then we'll wrap up. Do it, Christina.
I mentioned my own interview, right? And I have I've created a kind of a signature talk presentation that I can do, which includes 3 common things, right, that I see in messaging challenges and some tips for that. And then it leads to I can offer my Sacred Messenger quiz, free quiz at the end of it. So I'm in the process of rewriting it for an interview instead of as a presentation and thinking of questions they can ask me. So does that make sense? Does that sound like it might be a good idea to do for my own?
I think it sounds great.
Okay. Okay, then I will continue with that. And yeah, that was my question.
So good. Okay, Jennifer.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do you have a place where you have, here's tips on the best way to make reels? Here's some tips on that kind of thing. Do you have a sheet? Is that going to be in the worksheet process somewhere along the way or someplace?
I do have a Reels training worksheet I can share with you,
Okay.
but I just think that things change so much so quickly on social media, like literally weekly. And so what I try to do is I try to ask myself on social media, what's the biggest fish I can fry? Like, where's my biggest opportunity area? Because there's so many opportunities, right? And so if yours is hooking people past the 3-second mark, right? Or something like that, like I like to go online, set a 10-minute timer, and just do some research and ask myself, what are the videos that I'm watching more than 3 seconds? And why am I watching them for more than that? And kind of copying or emulating the tactics that people are using that are working right now. But I'll share the Reels training I have too.
Okay. I did a challenge this summer with someone and I did it and people were like, this is good, keep going. And then it wasn't like long-term, like working with you. It was one of these free challenges. So of course it just sat there and I don't really have TikTok. So it sat there as like a pretend TikTok thing. So I think that's part of it is it's the momentum for me. If I'm not in a system, even if I push back and don't exactly do everything you're saying, I like feel safe that I'm in it and I have something to push against. Once I'm out of the system, that's where the ADHD and everything like really becomes a barrier.
I think that's where you can like use your coach to be your system too, if it's useful, right? Like you can say like in the QA tomorrow, I, Jennifer, and challenged myself to a 7-day Reels test or something, right? And then coming back next week and telling us like how it went or something. But kind of like we were saying with Christina, how Christina's like, oh my God, is there something I'm missing? Like that's the feeling of autonomy. When we're having to like do things on our own, it feels like we don't know what we're doing. And so I think you're explaining that too, but I think we can do that, but also get support, right? Or like maybe you do your first reel like that and then you post it in Slack and you say, hey girls, can you cheer me on? Like go comment on my reel, right? So I think it's like this hybrid of like not over depending on a system long term, but also
Right.
not forgetting that it's okay to use community.
Okay. Thank you. No, I appreciate it so
We're
much.
here to cheer you on.
Yeah,
Okay, yay.
right.
Let's do action steps and takeaways in the chat box. biggest takeaway from the call and an action step you need to take.
Well, I think my takeaway is what you just said. I have created all kinds of things that I put together where I'm the person planning and I have no problem with it. So applying that to this and what I said earlier, 2026, go and do things. So I think what I'm going to do is make a real, even if it's and I think I'm just going to, maybe even before putting it up here, just put it up, as you said, to Chelsea or Christine, one of them, just do it. You can always take it down. So I think so by next week, I want you guys to see that I've written to you and said it's up, or maybe I'll actually put it. So I'm going to try to do something that's 30 to 50 seconds and where I switch quickly. That's my goal for myself. Thanks.
I think that's such a great goal. Okay. Anyone else? You can share in the chat box. You can share out loud, however you would like to share. Action steps, takeaways.
I'll share a takeaway is that what I'm hearing from everybody, well, and this applies to me, but I think it applies to all of us. We're doing great. Everybody's doing great, and just keep going. We don't have to do it all. And I'm reminding myself, what's the simplest thing that needs to be done right now, and focus on that, right?
I think to add to that too, that just being here and sharing with each other, like Jennifer said something and she was like, oh, challenges. And then Christina said something about how there's more avenues to what we're doing in this coaching business. And just being here reaffirms, like, I got an opportunity for writing stuff this morning. And I thought, yeah, just being here and listening to each other and just following our path. And even though like Jennifer's not on all the steps or it's taking too long or whatever, that we are where we're meant to be. And we're learning from each other.
Okay, in the car before I cried. That was so sweet. That was so thoughtful. Just adore you guys. And permission in the QA tomorrow to post any other questions you have, any other support needs, anything you need from me is there. Yes, one step at a time. And I agree. You guys are all doing amazing. It's January 6th, and most people do not get things rolling till like January 24th, which no problem. That's okay. But even the fact that you're being intentional and thinking about your business right now is truly amazing. It's truly amazing. Bye, sweet ladies.
Go us. Go team.
Go team. Go,
Sis
go.
Zumba.
What a sweet group of ladies. In this call, I talked a little bit more than normal. Number one, because I edited some of the parts out that were more personal where the ladies were talking, but also because it was the beginning of the year. So I was doing a little bit more pep talking than coaching, but hopefully this gave you a good snip of what you could experience if you decide to become a 12-week client of Get and Coach community. Again, feel free to hop on a 10-minute call if you have any questions. I am happy to. I know you may have had bad experiences, hard experiences in the online space, and I want to let you know I'm here to answer your questions even before you become a client. If you have a fear, a hesitation, and also know I offer a 30-day client happiness guarantee. So if you do the work, you have 30 days where you can really test out the program. All right, learn more about that on the page. Okay, do you guys want to say anything? Go ahead. Let her say something. Go ahead. I have two helpers helping me do this outro. Thank you so much for tuning in, and
Dun, 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 dun. Goodbye.
hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out today. Please hit that subscribe button so you can make sure to stay updated anytime a new episode drops. And I would love for you to join me in my free Facebook community. It's called The Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. We discuss the podcast episodes. I regularly go live and do free trainings. And you may even meet your newest biz bestie. So you can join at heartcenteredcommunity.com. It's absolutely free, and I cannot wait to see you in there.